Today we'll be retelling the story of the current Call of Duty Black Ops timeline. It appears that the current canon Black Ops story includes Black Ops 1 from 2010 and Black Ops Cold War from 2020. So we will be covering the years of 1961 to 1984 in both of those games, including the Warzone storyline and trying to retell the current events. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's begin. CIA operative Alex Mason suddenly awakens and he finds himself strapped to a chair with the thumping white noise of monitors all around him. He is almost blinded by the light when he notices two men in a room. They are speaking to him through a microphone and they begin to bombard him with questions. At first, Alex refuses to answer them, but they continue to torture him and they ask about these random numbers that appear on the screen, and they continue to ask him about a man named Dragovich. They began to ask Alex about a mission in 1961 that took place in Cuba alongside his comrades Bowman and Frank Woods. Here, Alex is taken back to that moment and we relive what happened the exact day of the mission, which was April 17th, 1961. Mason, Woods, and Joseph Bowman are in Cuba to assassinate Fidel Castro and help CIA-sponsored Cuban exiles in overthrowing Fidel Castro's communist regime. Mason and Woods seem to find and kill Fidel Castro in his bedroom.
This is it. You ready to make history?
Crazy bitch! He uses the human shield, and she still protects him?
Electro support is a fanatical in devotion.
Well, the target is down.
And they try to make an escape via an airport runway that was nearby. But the CIA's Cuban rebels are losing against Castro's armed forces, and they have set a blockade at the end of the runway, so there isn't enough time or enough room to take off. Here, Alex decides to jump off the plane and clear the blockade with a turret. Woods is angry at this, but Mason did what he thought was right. And with this, Bowman and Woods leave Cuba, and Alex Mason stays behind. However, mere moments later, Mason is knocked out and captured. His captor is Fidel Castro, who reveals that they assassinated a body double. Castro gives Mason to Major General Nikita Dragovich as a gift, and Alex Mason would be held captive at the Vorkuta Gulag, a Russian labor camp, and he would be there for 2 long years. With this, we return to present day, and the interrogators begin to ask Mason questions about his capture and what happened while he was taken by Dragovich. Alex informs them that he lived through hell and he had almost given up on ever escaping that terrible place. But a year into his captivity, he met with Viktor Renzov, who was a former member of the Soviet Union Army. Alex refers to Viktor as a friend in the interrogation, and suddenly we are taken back to October 6, 1963. Here we find out that Viktor and Alex planned a prison uprising and fought their way out of Vorkuta. However, when they made it out to freedom, Alex hopped on a train and waited for Viktor, but he took off in a different direction. And as we go back to present day, Alex says that this was the last he saw of Viktor, at least for a while. And the interrogators begin to badger him some more and question his loyalty to the United States. They believe that he's been compromised due to his friendship with a known Soviet threat. However, we are taken back to November 10th, 1963. A month after the escape, Alex Mason was tested and cleared for duty once again. He was back on assignment. His handler, Jason Hudson, was escorting him to meet with President John F. Kennedy, and on the ride there, Mason meets with the Secretary of the United States, who informs him that they want Dragovich killed.
Nothing less than our national security is at stake. He has no fear, no conscience, no weakness. This is Nikita Dragovich. I believe you two have already met.
When do I kill him?
We're lucky to have you back, Mason.
When Mason enters the Pentagon, his head begins to hurt and he continues to hear a thumping sound. He describes it like a dream or being in 2 places at once. When Mason meets with the president, he blacks in and out, and he even has a vision of himself pointing a gun at JFK. He snaps out of it, and the president confirms and authorizes the assassination of General Dragovich. He wants Mason to do this as he's the best operative that they've got. Now, a week later, on November 17th, 1963, Alex Mason, alongside his comrades Frank Woods and Joseph Bowman, reunite for a mission, which is to infiltrate the USSR space program located in Baikonur. Intel suggested that General Dragovich would be there. Mason is looking to kill and eradicate Dragovich. They run into heavy resistance at the space program, but they push through and are able to stop 2 rockets from launching. Mason snaps out of the flashback and we return to present day. The 2 unknown interrogators begin to ask Mason about Dragovich, and he explains that Woods believed that they had killed him, but they couldn't confirm the kill, and Alex Mason had a gut feeling that Dragovich was still alive. Here it's revealed that Mason would go on to spend the next 5 years searching for Dragovich. He says that he felt him everywhere. The people holding Mason captive shift the conversation back to the past.
Take us back again, Mason. After Baikonur, where did Washington send you next?
Vietnam. Fucking Quezon.
This was in 1968.
Yeah, I was part of the SOG unit led by Frank Woods. It was recon on covert Russian activity in Laos.
What about your CIA handler, Hudson? Was he in Quezon? Do you remember him there?
Hudson. And Mr. Shades. The guy was an ice cube.
And on February 2nd, 1968, in Hue City, during the Tet Offensive, Mason established contact with a Russian defector who apparently had a dossier with information on Dragovich. Mason risked his life and put the lives of his comrades in danger by heading into the middle of that war zone to try and recover the dossier. When he reached his contact, he realized that it was Viktor Ranzov, Mason's friend from years ago. Apparently, Dragovich is planning something big, an attack that could destroy the West and the United States. Reznov informs Mason that Dragovich must be stopped at all costs. With the dossier in their possession, Dragovich's allies and their information is revealed. One of them is Kravchenko, who is a Soviet colonel, Dr. Steiner, who is a Soviet scientist, and Dr. Clark, who is a chemical engineer. All these men were a part of Project Nova, which was a nuclear submarine. And now we return once more to the present day. Alex Mason gets angry and says that all these questions are pointless, as they already know everything that has happened. However, the captors reveal that they don't know what the numbers they keep showing him mean, or even where they are broadcasted from. Here we realize that this may be their ultimate goal. And we go back in time once more to February 9th, 1968, where Hudson and Weaver have been sent to Hong Kong to capture Dr. Daniel Clark. Here we see Hudson question Clark on his relationship with Dragovich. However, they are ambushed by Dragovich's men and they make a run for it. During the escape, Clark reveals the location of Dr. Steiner, which is in a facility located in Yamantau, where he is finishing up preparations for the Nova 6 project. Clark reveals that the project's success relies on numbers, and Hudson asks what kind of numbers, but Clark is shot in the head as he is about to reveal what they are used for.
What about the numbers, Clark? Oh, yeah. Он у меня на мушке.
And now back once again in present day, amid further interrogation, Mason reveals the story behind the friendship of Dragovich, his right-hand man Lev Kravchenko, and German ally Dr. Friedrich Steiner. The story was told to him by Reznov, and the story takes place sometime after World War II. Here, Dragovich discovers the German biochemical weapon Nova 6, and he decides to sacrifice his own soldiers so that he can witness the effects of the weapon, including Reznov's close friend, Dmitry Petrenko.
My father was a musician in Stalingrad. During the German occupation, the sound of his violin filled the air with magnificent music. Korsakov, Stasov, many of the great nationalist composers. To my countrymen, it was a symbol of hope. To the Germans, it was a symbol of defiance. Even now, his music still haunts me. The Nazis slit his throat while he slept. Collaborating with any Nazi is a betrayal against all of Mother Russia. Dragovich, Kravchenko were not troubled by such matters. They look only to advance their own interests and agendas. We had found what we were looking for. Nova 6. The German weapon of mass destruction now belonged to Mother Russia. Or so it seemed. Our victory was to be short-lived. Dragovich wanted to see the effects of the poison firsthand. It was also an opportunity to remove a thorn in his side. I had long known of their distrust. What kind of men they were. It was a betrayal. I should have foreseen. Dimitri Panchenko was a hero. He deserved a hero's death. Instead of giving his life for the glory of the motherland, he died for nothing. Like an animal. He shot up died in Berlin. As I watched my closest friend die, it became clear we were not the only ones seeking the German weapons. We are running out of time, my friend. Can you trust your leaders to destroy it? Or do you think they will use it? The flag may be different, but the methods are the same. They will use you as they used me. You must decide. Decide what you think is worth fighting for. Dragovich, Kravchenko, Stein. These men must die.
We head back to February 9th, 1968. Mason and his SOG team are in Vietnam trying to capture Kravchenko. Mason and his team fight through Viet Cong controlled territory. However, they fail to capture and eliminate Kravchenko. And we quickly cut back to present day. Here, Mason is being hammered by his captors. They tell him that Reznov is not his friend and that he isn't who he thinks he is. Mason refused this and we head right back into 1968, this time on February 11th, 2 days after failing to kill Kravchenko. Mason and his team are sent to locate a downed Soviet plane containing the Nova 6 gas, but during this investigation, Woods and Bowman are captured by the Viet Cong and presumed dead. Mason is taken by Dragovich and Kravchenko, who were in Laos. We are back in present day, and the interrogator explains to Mason that his handler Hudson had to continue the search for the Nova gas without him. Once again, we go back in time to February 18th, 1968, where Agent Hudson was sent to Yamantau to infiltrate the center where Nova 6 was made. Upon entering the facility control room, they realize that it has been rigged with explosives by Dragovich. However, Hudson's team is contacted remotely by Dr. Steiner, who reveals Dragovich has set sleeper agents all over the United States for years, and in less than 36 hours, these agents will receive their final order to release Nova 6 all over America. Dr. Steiner reveals his location and promises to help them crack the numbers broadcast. All this because Dragovich is killing everyone connected to Project 6, and Dr. Steiner is seeking protection. We head back to present day. Mason reveals to the interrogators how his comrade Bowman was killed during their capture by the Viet Cong, and how he and Woods managed to escape. This took place on February 19th, 1968.
Bowman!
Tired. Just want to end
You
this.
don't mean that, Bowman!
Fuck you, Charlie.
Bowman, don't! You dead American!
Последний шанс. Играй или умирай.
You don't scare me. Communist piece of shit.
Bowman! Bowman! You fucking son of a bitch!
Next.
I'm gonna kill you all!
Motherfuckers. We're gonna make them pay.
You! No talk. Blade!
What's the plan? Thinking. I'm thinking.
No talk!
One chance, Mason. We'll take it. Okay.
Bang! You can't kill me! You shoot, Gia! You shoot! Fuck!
This time, do it.
Inland!
Ready.
Play. Bang!
6 and 8 o'clock.
Mason and Woods fought their way through the war zone that is Vietnam to reach Kravchenko's base. Once they arrived there, Mason met with Reznov once again, who led him through the base to Kravchenko. And when the trio confronted Kravchenko, a fight broke out, and Kravchenko focused on Mason. However, Woods sneaked up behind him and stabbed him. Kravchenko then pulled a pin off of a grenade that he had strapped to his chest, and Woods jumped out of the window with Kravchenko, seemingly sacrificing himself and saving Mason in the process. After this, Mason and Reznov recovered the documents that would lead them to Rebirth Island, where Dr. Steiner was located. However, we find ourselves back in present day, and the interrogator begins to badger Mason on his relationship with Reznov. Mason loses it, and he goes right back to February 1968, only a couple days after the death of Kravchenko. He tells the interrogators that when they reached the island, they snuck in the facility and Reznov murdered Dr. Steiner right in front of him.
Friedrich Steiner. This is the end.
I know you. Vorkuta. You don't know what we did to you.
Mason, talk to me.
Your evil has claimed the lives of many good men. No longer.
Killing me will not stop Nova.
I do not care about no one. My name is Victor Reznov. And I will have my revenge!
However, the interrogator cuts him off and tells him that Reznov did not kill Steiner, that it was actually, in fact, Mason who did it, and that Agent Hudson saw it with his own eyes.
Damn, it's bulletproof! Mason, what are you doing? We need him alive! Stand down! Stand down!
My name is Victor Reznov, and I will have my
Revenge! Mason, no!
I'm fine. Check Steiner. He's dead. What about Reznov, the defector? We need to find him.
We won't. He was never here. I didn't believe it till I saw it with my own eyes. What did they do to you in Vorkuta, Mason?
Steiner dead. Mason's our only link to the numbers broadcasts.
We need to bring him back.
Back in the present day for the last time, Hudson reveals himself and Weaver to be the interrogators and confronts Mason face to face.
We're out of time. We can't give up now. He was at Vorkuta. He knows how to translate the codes. He's heard the broadcasts, which we know contain the location. It's all in his head somewhere. He does know where it is. We have to get to the bunker. We're at DEFCON 2. You've tried everything. Not yet. I have one more card to play.
Get out of here, Weaver. Tell them I failed.
You want to die with him? Your choice.
Damn it! Why can't you remember? Reznov's dead, Mason. Did you hear me? He's dead! Weaver's right. We're out of time. The Russians fucked you up. I know you. You're not a traitor.
Hudson reveals that while at Vorkuta, Mason was subjected to severe mental reconditioning in order to turn him into a sleeper agent who would perform Soviet missions in America, including the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. However, Reznov hijacked this programming while in prison and used it to have Mason complete Reznov's thirst for revenge to kill Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner. It is revealed that Reznov never actually escaped Vorkuta, and he died during the breakout attempt. And the Soviet defector that he met in Hue was dead by the time Mason reached him. Mason's visions of Reznov were a direct result of a dissociative disorder caused by the traumatic brainwashing program that he was a part of. Agent Hudson attempts to reach Alex once more.
There are gaps in your memory. Periods where you went MIA and we couldn't account for you. But now that the brainwashing's been broken, all that lost time will come back. We need to leave. The Nova 6 strike is imminent. Hundreds of sleeper agents, hidden in every state capital, are about to unleash this poison on your own countrymen. When Steiner died, we lost our key to unlocking the location of number broadcasts. You were programmed at Vorkuta to translate the number codes. Only you can tell us what the codes mean. Nova 6 was just one of the sleeper operations, but I'm sure there were others. Ones we didn't even know about. We have the broadcasts. We played them to you over and over again for hours, but we haven't been able to break through your programming yet. Mason, this is our last shot. Listen, for God's sake, listen again.
2022. Do with him what you wish, General. This is my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship.
Vorkuta! You don't know what we did to you.
The subject has been successfully implanted with the knowledge to translate the number sequences.
All agents. Our new allies in Cuba have graciously permitted the construction of a new and permanent broadcast station within their borders. From now until Project Nova's initiation, all instructions will be broadcast from the result. Our plan to strike at the very heart of the West is now in motion. Await further instructions.
Do with him what you wish, General. So is my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship. In honor of our new relationship.
Permanent broadcast station within their borders. All instructions will be broadcast from the result.
I know where the number station is. It's a ship. I saw it a long time ago. The Rusalka.
Where?
Cuba.
With the revelation of the number station being located in Cuba, the team head out to infiltrate the ship Rusalka. Mason and Hudson infiltrate the underwater base protecting the ship, and Hudson caused the United States Navy to destroy Rusalka. Moments later, Hudson and Mason confront Dragovich, who shoots at Hudson, but Mason manages to get a hold of him and drowns him.
I'm gonna kill you! Try to fuck with my mind! You don't know anything! Try to turn me against my own! Try to make me kill my own president! Tried? Come on, Mason!
With Dragovich finally killed, Mason escapes with Hudson, and they declare victory. Sometime later, Mason finds out that Frank Woods didn't die in the explosion during their fight with Kravchenko, and he is actually being kept a prisoner at the Hanoi Hilton.
Kravchenko, when I sliced that bastard open, saved everyone's ass. But he comes to first. Boom. Welcome to the Hanoi Hilton. 6 months later, they shipped me over to Da Nang. And this fucking place made the Hilton look good. Lost 17 of my group. By 72, it was just me. I was not gonna die in a fucking swamp!
President Ronald Reagan has assigned a Black Ops mission to take out a Soviet Union spy known by his alias Perseus. This Soviet spy has been a part of major catastrophes for the United States, including stealing information out of the Manhattan Project in 1943. Then in 1968, Perseus attempted to steal a nuclear bomb during the Vietnam War. Now, 16 years later, in 1981, Perseus is once again plotting an attack on the United States.
Perseus. The CIA's analysts consider him to be the single largest threat to the free world.
Mr. Hudson, we're all aware of Perseus. We're also aware he's more myth than fact. I mean, personally, I think he's nothing more than the Russian boogeyman.
General Haig, allow me to introduce the man best suited to respond to that. CIA clandestine special officer Russell Adler. He's one of the few people who even come close to capturing Perseus.
Mr. Adler, why should we take this Perseus threat seriously?
You don't have to, sir.
Yeah, then a lot of innocent people are gonna die. Why do you say that?
Sir.
Every time Perseus has come into play, it shifted the balance of the Cold War. war. After 13 years of silence, if he's active, something big is gonna happen. Something that will affect the free world.
Sir.
Mr. President. Sir. Mr. President.
Mr. President, this is Jason Hudson and Russell Adler.
I know their names. Who do you think approved their last mission? Is the threat real?
Yes, sir, we believe it is.
Can you stop Perseus?
We can, sir. I've already submitted the requisition for my team.
Sir, their requests are highly irregular. Most likely illegal if the press gets a hold.
What the hell are you talking about? You know who we are?
Every mission we go on is illegal.
Sergeant Woods, plausible deniability is the backbone of our work.
Al, we're talking about preventing an attack on the free men and women of the world. Give Mr. Adler whatever he wants. Gentlemen, you've been given an important task. Protecting our very way of life from a great evil. There is no higher duty. There is no higher honor. And while few people will know of your struggles, rest assured, the entire free world will benefit. I know you won't fail us.
5 weeks after putting his team together, Russell Adler is in West Berlin following a lead on Perseus. Hudson, however, is wary of the task force that Adler chose and is keeping a close eye on Adler, Bell, and the rest of the team. He does not know if he trusts them fully, but for now he will support the task force in their hunt for the Soviet agent Perseus.
Do you trust him?
I'm not the one you should be asking, Black.
What about his team?
It's a strong group. He chased down Sims, Azalea, even pulled some strings to get Helen Park from MI6. We'll get them Mason and Woods soon.
I'm not so sure about Park.
She and Adler have that business from before. Of course he wants her there.
And the new one.
Bell? Well, don't get me started. That's the one we need to keep our eyes on.
Bell meets with Adler at a CIA safe house. They will be doing some sort of memory training exercise on Sergeant Bell. During this, Bell is taken mentally to 1968, where he recalls the events almost perfectly. Adler sends Sim and Bell to secure a valuable asset in a nearby firebase. During their search for this asset, they find 2 Soviet soldiers. Bell and Sims kill them and retrieve important intel off of them, this being the clue they overlooked years ago. After this, they rendezvous with Adler and head over to Ripcord Firebase. Upon getting there, Sim realizes that the asset they have picked up is a nuke. 4 hours later, Bell wakes up from the memory exercise and they begin to scavenge through the intel that they picked up. They uncover some important names that could lead them closer to Perseus. One of the names uncovered during the memory exercise was Anton Volkov, who is now a Russian arms dealer who supplies not only for Perseus, but many of the biggest organized crime bosses around the world.
Volkov heads the Russian mob that moved into East Berlin once the wall went up in '61.
This guy has connections to cartels throughout Europe and the Americas.
Neutralizing him will not only hurt Perseus, but the global syndicate. He's a big fish.
Neutralizing Volkov will have a big impact on organized crime as a whole. Hudson informs Adler and the team that his asset in East Berlin has a way of catching Anton. He is due to pick up a package from Franz Kraus, who is Volkov's chief courier, in a bar near Kraus' apartment.
Let's take him out apart. Careful.
Now!
Nice work. Let's clean this up.
Adler and Bell make their way onto a roof near the meeting place to scope out any signs of Kraus. After a little while, they get eyes on the courier. Bell heads down and goes inside the bar and plants a listening device while he sits in with Hudson's asset. While they wait, Hudson's asset, named Greta, informs Bell that a spy of hers has been captured by Volkov's people. She would like Bell to either free him or eliminate him. If Bell gets a chance, he will take care of the spy. However, the conversation is interrupted when a man comes in the bar and informs Kraus that the meeting place has been been changed because he was followed. Krause leaves the apartment and Bell makes a quick escape through the bathroom. Bell heads over to meet Lazar and Park, who are inside of a small store in front of Krause's apartment. They inform Bell that he will infiltrate the apartment and put a tracking device inside of Krause's briefcase. Bell heads inside and takes care of Krause's wife.
She'll be out for hours. Clean it up.
He finds a secret room in Krause's office and puts a tracker inside of the briefcase and is about to head out when he hears muffled screaming through the closet. A while later, Bell wakes up and he is in a warehouse with Greta. They are both tied up and being questioned by Anton Volkov. Moments later, Volkov decides to kill Bell, but before doing so, Adler and the team come to the rescue.
I could probably make use of it, but you are damaged goods. Only a grave can cure a hunchback.
Что такое?
I'll help her secure the place. Get Volkov!
Don't kill him.
Volkov quickly makes a run for it and the team follows him. Bell catches up to him and takes him out. In the briefcase recovered from Volkov, we find out that Perseus used East Berlin to smuggle a nuclear device. The team believes Perseus has stored them in an unpopulated area in Ukraine. Adler has Woods and Mason go over to assist. Bell and Woods make their way to the base in Ukraine. They silently infiltrate it and make their way through the underground levels.
All right, I'm set.
Clear, moving up. Looks like their command center. Come on.
They find a control room and a computer that seems to have very valuable information on it. There's a file on there titled Operation Greenlight. Bell and Woods listen to it and hear the voices of Hudson and the director of operations. Here they discover that the nuclear weapon smuggled out of Berlin by Perseus is American. Hudson says that they will take care of it and keep control of the asset, and they will also keep this information a secret from Adler's team. Woods is rightly pissed off.
We confirmed it. The nuke smuggled out of Berlin is a green light asset. It's one of ours.
If that gets out,
no one will know, not even Adler's team. The stakes are too high.
High is an understatement. We're talking about an American nuke hidden beneath Berlin.
They make their way out of the base and regroup. From there, they head over to meet with Hudson, as he has some explaining to do. Sometime later, we see Adler, Mason, and Woods headed to meet Hudson. As they arrive, an angry Woods gets out of the car and attacks Hudson. Adler asks everyone to calm down and questions Hudson on what they heard regarding Operation Greenlight.
You knew the nuke was from Greenlight. Didn't tell us. What else are you hiding? Maybe I can knock the truth out of you.
You might want to rethink that, Woods.
Everybody stand down. This little pissing match isn't gonna help us catch Perseus.
Why didn't you tell us it was an American nuke?
He needed us to clean up his mess. The bastard's been lying to us all along.
It's not a lie. It's an omission of fact.
That's what you do best, isn't it, Hudson? Manipulate people. Tell them your own version of the truth.
There is no truth. Only who you choose to believe. Adler knows all about that. Don't you, Russ?
Operation Greenlight. What is it? Tell us everything.
Back in '58, the arms race was in full swing. Eisenhower was convinced if the Reds moved on Europe, we couldn't respond quick enough. So he authorized Operation Greenlight, a top-secret program that placed nuclear bombs in every major European city. The ultimate countermeasure to a Soviet invasion. 74 of the bombs were upgraded to high-yield neutron bombs, capable of terminating personnel without damaging infrastructure.
Thousands dying in a flash. And you're talking about fucking infrastructure.
How's that for civilized? We kill the people but preserve the buildings.
We're trying to preserve our way of life.
How long have you known about the missing nuke?
One of the Greenlight nukes went offline 8 weeks ago. We suspected it was Perseus, but couldn't confirm it. So we saw the photos you brought back from East Berlin.
So, there's an American-made nuke in the wild. And once Perseus detonates it, the United States becomes global enemy number 1.
We wouldn't have this problem if you'd done your job. Killed Perseus in Vietnam.
Careful, Hudson. Next time, I might not stop Woods.
Now that the team know that Perseus is looking to detonate the nuke and make the United States the enemy, Adler understands they need to move fast. The team's search leads them to Yamantau, as MI6 has an insider named Belikov within the KGB that confirms there is an active operation going on there. Yamantau, years earlier, was a base for the Soviet Union where Major General Nikita Dragovich worked on a gas named Nova 6 that would brainwash US agents positioned in different parts of the United States. However, Alex Mason killed the general and prevented the Nova 6 gas from ever being deployed. Perseus is now on the hunt for something inside of Yamantau. Adler is sending Mason back to the Soviets' base alongside Woods to find whatever Perseus is looking for first. Mason and Woods arrive in Mount Yamantau, where they find a mainframe, which they steal and they deliver it to Hudson. He has his team analyze it, and 4 days later they find out that Perseus was looking for the names of the sleeper agents that were used in 1968. Hudson asks for those names, but Perseus has deleted them from the mainframe, and the only place that they can now be found is inside the KGB headquarters, in their bunker at the Lubyanka building. Hudson heads over to talk to Adler about the mission that's coming.
Are you taking him into the KGB with you? Are you crazy? Wait for Mason or Woods to return.
I don't need Mason or Woods. I need Bell. He's got the skill we need.
Are you enjoying this? You're risking the entire operation unnecessarily.
It's not unnecessary. It's calculated.
Just understand that if you botch this, we can't get those names. It's over.
I know you can do this. Hudson doesn't trust anyone he can't control. The Lubyanka building, KGB headquarters in Moscow. The sleeper agent records are stored in the archives 100 feet below ground in a nuclear defense command bunker.
Your only way in or out is through this high-security elevator.
We'll need proper credentials. That's where our asset Belikov comes into play. Belikov has been our source inside the KGB for nearly a decade. He'll get us in. He came through for us in Yamantau. He'll do it again.
This shit is crazy, even by his standards. You sure he's on board?
An immediate nuclear threat warrants every risk at this point. I'm sure he wouldn't disagree. Sims, get Belikov on the line.
Belikov receives a phone call from Adler where he tells him they need his help getting inside the KGB building. During the phone call, Belikov is summoned to meet with Secretary Gorbachev, having summoned him to a meeting. Belikov makes his way there to find some of his comrades and 2 men, one named Zakayev and one named Kravchenko, who are investigating a mole within the KGB. Belikov feels that they are onto him, so he plans to frame a general in the KGB named Charkov. Kravchenko informs Belikov that in a couple of hours they will know from which computer the mole operates. Belikov knows that his computer will be the one that will be discovered, so he quickly makes his way into the server room and redirects the evidence to General Charkov. He prints out the evidence, he takes it to Kravchenko and successfully frames Charkov. Belikov uses this opportunity to steal the general's keycard. He heads over to the boiler room and opens the door for Adler and Bell. They disguise themselves as KGB members and make their way to the bunker. As they make their way through security, they run into trouble, but Belikov helps them. After this, they head to the elevator to go to the bottom floor. Before the elevator door closes, Sakaev goes inside and is suspicious of Adler and Bell. That suspicion gets him knocked out.
No, лица. Когда вы прибыли?
Что вы делаете?
Elevator conversation always gets awkward.
Upon arriving on the bottom floor, Adler and Bell begin to take out any KGB soldier standing in their way on their path to the bunker.
Plant a gas canister in the back.
Got your back.
The whole building is on high alert. After a heavy assault, they make it to the bunker and copy the sleeper agents' names onto a disk drive. As they make their way out, they are blocked by KGB soldiers holding Belikov hostage. Somehow, they find out he was the actual mole. Adler and Bell rescue him and they make an escape together. With the name of the sleeper agents in their possession, they discover that a nuclear engineer named Theodore Hastings was part of Operation Greenlight. The team will keep tabs on him as they believe he will lead them to Perseus, which rings true when Hastings decides to get on a plane and leave the United States for Cuba. The team are alerted to this and head there immediately, as they believe they will find Perseus there. Once they arrive at an abandoned compound, the team must make their way through and find where Hastings is. The team split. Bale, Park, and Lazar find CCTVs that show Perseus entering the room where Hastings is and shoots everyone inside. They head towards that room, but Perseus seems to be gone. A severely injured Hastings lets them know that Perseus has stolen the activation codes for the nukes, all of the nukes. The team must now make a quick exit. They fight their way through the compound and onto the roof where they will be picked up. However, they are receiving heavy fire and an RPG hits them before boarding the chopper. Bell has a harness already on him and he can save either Park or Lazar, and in a moment of high stress, he chooses Park.
7, 6, 5.
A little while later, we find Bell being dragged inside of the CIA safe house where he is strapped down and seemingly forced into another memory exercise by Bell, Park, and Sims. They believe Bell holds the key to finding out where Perseus has those nukes located. Here we begin an excruciating process where the truth of what's going on is finally revealed. Bell is not CIA. He did not serve with Adler in Vietnam, and he isn't even American. He was a high-ranking member and a trusted protege of Perseus. He was captured by Adler, Mason, and Woods during a mission at an airstrip a couple of months ago, where they retrieved valuable information on Perseus.
When the plane leaves Trabzon, it's stopping in Duga. This you know. Here's what you don't know. Perseus won't be there. None of these hired guns are going to leave Duga alive. We'll dump their bodies in the forest. Then we will move the weapons to Volkov in Berlin. From there, we fly to Solovetsky.
But I have other plans for you. Perseus thinks too highly of you. I don't want the competition.
Bell, you were one of Perseus's agents. His associate, Arash Kardavar, turned on you at the airstrip in Turkey. left you for dead.
The CIA reinvented you, Bell. We needed to give you a new identity to replace the old. Sims and I both wanted you to be CIA. You didn't resist it as much as we thought you might. And we were able to utilize your language and cryptography skills as an added bonus. The bigger challenge was your memory.
The CIA's MK-Ultra program used Adler's missions in Vietnam as a template. We needed you to have that shared experience, that lifelong bond, to establish trust.
Interrogation didn't work with you, but thanks to MK-Ultra's research, we had a backup plan. If you believed you were someone else, we could lead you to a place where you'd give everything up. Enough to get us where we are today, but we're not finished yet. We have a job to do. Bell, we've got a job. We've got a job to do.
You've got a job to do. You've got a job to do.
The trigger phrase kept you in line, but it didn't get us everything we needed. Your innermost secrets were always locked behind a door. Bell, I realize you probably hate us right now, what we've done to you. I just need you to fully understand the stakes here. What you do right now is not about me, it's not about you, it's about millions of other fucking people. It's about stopping someone who, in the end, has no true allegiance to anyone other than himself. So tell me, where is Perseus?
Once we control the green light arsenal, we will detonate them all from the safety of Solovetsky.
During this memory exercise, Bell remembers almost everything. Here he has a choice: help Adler and the CIA stop the nukes from going off and killing half of Europe, while at the same time truly turning on Perseus by revealing where he is. Or he can lie and pledge his loyalty to Perseus. Bell decides to help Adler and the CIA willingly, revealing that Perseus is in Solovetsky. The team heads to Solovetsky and they have 12 minutes to stop the nukes from going off.
Bell, we gotta go, now!
After a heavy fight against Perseus' men, they are able to stop the bombs from going off, securing America's way of life and saving millions from dying in Europe. However, Perseus once again flees. After things quiet down, Adler takes a walk with Bell to enjoy the view and talk about the sacrifices that they've made.
Arctic air. There's the head, doesn't it? Bell, you made two extraordinary sacrifices to stop Perseus. One was without your knowledge. The other, you made that decision of your own accord. I just want you to know that this little thing that's happened with you and me, it was always for the greater good. You're a goddamn hero, you know that, kid? Heroes have to make sacrifices. That's why when I ask you for one more, I hope you understand. It was never personal.
After killing Bell, Adler continues his search for Perseus. However, unbeknownst to Adler, Perseus would succumb to cancer in 1983, ending his life never being captured by the CIA and, maybe more importantly, avoiding the relentless Russell Adler. However, Perseus' work and his Nova 6 dream would continue, as a new leader would emerge following his death, named Viktor Stitch Kuzmin, who had worked firsthand with the Nova 6 gas back in the 60s and worked under Lev Kravchenko. But in 1968, Kuzmin would be captured by Russell Adler and the CIA. Adler would question Kuzmin and would take out his eye in hopes of retrieving any information that they could out of him. But Kuzmin would survive the interrogation, and then he would be sent to a gulag, as he looked like a failure for being captured by the CIA. Sometime after Kuzmin was sent to the gulag, Perseus reached out to him and turned him into one of his agents. Perseus knew that the knowledge that Kuzmin held was invaluable, as he worked with Nova 6 firsthand. And in 1976, Perseus would free Kuzmin from the gulag, and they would work side by side until 1983, when he became the new leader of the Perseus organization. However, Kuzmin wanted revenge on Adler and led him into a trap on January 24th, 1984.
What the hell? He's manufacturing Nova 6 again. Kill the rest. Adler is mine. See you in hell.
A few months later, on April 19th, 1984, Kuzmin and his Perseus organization transported Adler to Verdansk, while leading Frank Woods and other NATO operatives to pursue a false lead about Nova 6 production in Laos. While Frank Woods' rescue team was distracted by the false lead, Kuzmin would torture Russell Adler and send two of his operators, Helvig and Gray, to infiltrate a KGB black site in Mount Yamantau and steal data from the brainwashing project conducted by Nikita Dragovich on Alex Mason during the 1960s. After the information was extracted and the Perseus team left the base, they destroyed it with a nuclear bomb. In Verdansk, Kuzmin informed his team that his work with Adler was near completion, and that he would do what Dragovich only managed with a single subject to entire nations, paving way for Perseus' original goal of a greater Russia. Kuzmin would finish his work on Russell Adler by brainwashing him the same way that Dragovich did Mason years ago. And a few days later, on June 10, 1984, Adler was rescued by Frank Woods.
They rescued Adler faster than predicted. No matter, our work with him is done.
So, we move forward?
Not yet. Their satellites are interfering with our broadcast. The Verdansk test subjects are in place, but we're not getting through.
They still don't know what we're doing.
We have the advantage. We should press it.
Our man in South Africa is standing by.
Agreed. All the pieces are in play. Make the call.
"16 days later, on June 26, two satellites were crashed by a Perseus operative. One landed in Verdansk, while the other landed in Algeria. Adler, alongside Jabari Salah and other NATO operatives, would head to the crash site in Algeria to secure a data recorder from the satellite. Adler charged right into the fight on his own without his team, and he stole the satellite data recorder. He would begin to work off the grid on an unknown project in Verdansk. Later, we find Woods and Hudson meeting privately.
We've got a serious problem. Salah said that the satellite's data recorder was destroyed on re-entry.
So what? I've read the report.
Forensics disagree. Soot patterns were consistent with it surviving to impact.
Adler made damn sure he was first there.
Perseus were on site. Could they have taken it?
Negative. Bodies were clean.
After what happened at Echelon, we have to assume he's compromised.
Fuck.
Adler's been off-grid working on something in Verdansk. We have no idea what he's been doing. We'll have to pull him in. Go find Mason. He knows what has to be done.
On August 2nd, 1984, Mason captures Adler and brings him to the same interrogation room that Hudson and Weaver put him in after killing Steiner in 1968.
You can stop all this now. It's no use. We're running out of time. You've been off-grid since Algeria. What were you doing in Verdansk?
You always find me the best toys.
You can defuse it. Stadium search team. We found more devices.
Kill it. Signal could set this off. Of course. Seismic charge. Primary rig to blow secondaries in the borehole. Sophisticated. Very nasty. This has CIA written all over it.
I know who did this.
Tough son of a bitch won't talk. Let's start the real work.
I did what you cowards wouldn't. Stitch's operation in Verdansk has to be destroyed! Get me out of this fucking chair!
First, we're gonna fix you. Trust me. This is gonna hurt. 16, 23, 9, 8, 14, 13, 22, 18, 7, 11, 14. Adler, we have unfinished business.
Got reports of multiple explosions in Verdansk. Sounds like our boy did a number on the place. Get him up. We need to go.
Oh, God. What have I done? Shake it off. It wasn't you. We're gonna finish what you started.
We've got a job to do.
Woods, Hudson, Mason, and Adler travel to Verdansk, and on August 19th, they find Kuzmin sitting near a solitary grave in the woods.
This one's all yours, brother.
Adler, you took your time. It's over. Your sick experiment is done. 12, 19, 14. Don't waste your breath. I'm clean. I figured. It was worth a try. My work was finished before your little act of rebellion. This changes nothing. Tell me where Perseus is. You never understood. Perseus was never one man. It's an ideal. Bigger than any of us. Oh, spare me your horse shit. Where the fuck is Perseus? Right here. Cancer took him in '83. No. A great man with great vision. He was not the first Perseus, just as I will not be the last. You're coming with me. There's blood on your hands. Big words from the Scourge of Verdansk. Fuck you. I wasn't in my right mind. You saw to that. You Westerners. So squeamish. Look at where we are. This was the Eastern Front. The blood of millions of my people so deep into this soil. Men and women who paid the ultimate price for what had to be done. You're a fucking monster. I should kill you for what you've done. For what you did to me. My life no longer matters. Do what you will. Finish what you started on Rebirth Island. My broadcast was complete. I have changed the world, Adler. In ways you can't even imagine.
And this concludes the story of Call of Duty Black Ops from 1961 to 1984. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you found this useful as we wait for Black Ops Gulf 4, which will continue the story of Adler, Woods, and Alex Mason later this year. If you like Call of Duty, I've retold the story of many great characters and the rebooted Modern Warfare series. Please remember to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in our next one.